I've observed 20,000 people over 5 years go through this, and I've observed what happens, and the people who have trouble with it, the people who do okay with it, and the people who get extremely good results with it. And it's fascinated me, and I've really dug into this and looked at it. And what I've found is that there are layers too, like every human's mind, every human's brain. There are layers. And what's fascinating is that when we go to learn a specific skill, like let's say the specific skill is going to be, how to run Facebook ads, right? So that specific skill is going to be up here on this processes layer, or this process layer. And beneath this, we have like a business discipline layer. And so this layer here is, so I'll write this on so you guys can see it. So here we have like processes. And then on this layer here, we have business disciplines. And then on the layer beneath it, we have business principles. And then on the layer beneath this one, we have, this one here is mental cognition. And then the layer beneath it, we have mental awareness. Now you're probably thinking, what are these things? Why are we talking about these things? Well, let me explain all of them. So if somebody, and I see this happen every single day, somebody will come in and they want to start a business or be an entrepreneur, and they think, okay, well, what do I need to learn? All right, the hot topic is like Facebook ads. And so I'm going to come right in and just learn all about Facebook ads. And so they go in and they do that. And what they're doing is they're acquiring a specific process skill, like this one little block here. And they're acquiring this skill, but it's operating on top of all of these layers. And the best way to think about this is, you've got like an operating system on your computer, like Windows or Mac operating system. And then on top of that, you can install applications like Microsoft Word or Keynote or different things. And then within those, you can create different files and create different things like that. Now, if you install like a specific software application on a bad operating system, like let's say you try to install a Microsoft Windows application on Mac OS, it's not even going to install. Or let's say you install like a real memory hungry application, like some sort of graphics, heavy graphical interface sort of application on top of an operating system that's outdated with not much RAM and not much available memory and hard drive space. Well, that application is going to be running very poorly. It's going to be extremely inefficient, and it's not even going to really function. And this is what I see happen in business every single day, is people are just trying to learn these processes and these specific things, but their foundations of their mind are like in seriously poor condition. And basically what they're doing is trying to install like how to run Facebook ads on top of really no knowledge of business disciplines, no knowledge of business principles, and poor mental cognition and poor mental awareness. And when this happens, it's just like building a house on top of sand. It doesn't matter if you get like a multi-million-dollar house with the fanciest design and everything. If you lay that thing on top of sand, it's going to fall over and it's going to be completely useless. And people don't look at these layers beneath, and they don't work on these layers beneath, and then they wonder why these things up here don't work for them, and they wonder why things are glitching up here. And this is why two people can come into contact with the same information and get different results, because it depends on the layers of the person's mind. Somebody who's more aware, with better, sharper cognition, and with better business principles, and a wider array of business disciplines, is going to learn information and perceive information in an entirely different way. And let me give you a perfect example of this. Let's say that somebody, is much more aware and has much better problem-solving abilities and much better critical thinking abilities and lots of different mental models to run things through. And then on the business principles layer, this person has a really solid kind of paradigm and ideology of how they like to run their business, and they've got some values and some principles they like to follow. And then up here on the business disciplines layer, let's say this person understands accounting, they understand tax, and they understand sales, and they understand marketing and product development, and they understand management as well, and looking after teams and all of that. Well, now if that person, if they learn how to run Facebook ads, when they're going through that information, they're going to see all of these connections all over the place that the other person can't see because they don't have this base foundation. So the person who's got all of that and they're learning Facebook ads, they're going to think, oh, this is how Facebook ads would affect the P&L. This is how Facebook ads would affect the balance sheet. Or this is how Facebook ads would make that thing work. Or this is how sales kind of comes in and interrelates with Facebook ads. And this is how product development comes in and connects with Facebook ads. They're starting to connect all of these different dots between all of these different layers. And then their style and their method and their way of running Facebook ads is going to be massively influenced by these lower layers, because every single layer of your mind, the layer above it inherits everything from the layers below. So if you have really poor awareness and self-discipline, if you're at this awareness layer, if you're not able to catch things, if your attention span is really short, and if you've got really destructive behaviors and habits, and if you also have a poor sense of identity, and you've got a lot of delusions and false beliefs and things like this, then if this person tries to learn anything, it's game over. This person has problems just sitting in front of the computer for an hour and watching a video that's longer than 2 minutes, let alone starting a damn business. So this person here, it doesn't matter what they learn, they're screwed. And the person with bad mental cognition, it doesn't matter what they learn, they're screwed. So these layers down here are of extreme importance. And so this is how we can get these massively differing results. The person who becomes a billionaire from this information, they're able to see all of the different interconnections, and they have really solid foundations that they're able to just take this information, apply it between all of these different things, and then execute it as a functioning business, or executing it as a functioning anything and making a massive difference. Whereas the other person just sees words, because all that is to them is words. And a classic example of the other person is when they learn Facebook ads, they're thinking, well, how does this work financially? How does this, if I spend money on ads, how does this come back? Is that going to be a profit or a loss? They're already breaking down mentally. And then, because their awareness and everything is so bad, they're not even going to be able to sit down in front of the screen and write Facebook ads for an extended period of time because their attention span is so horrible. And then they're going to have no mental cognition skills. They're not going to be able to problem solve things when problems arise, and problems always arise. One thing we can guarantee is that problems are coming. They come every day, all the time. It's non-stop. And so if you're not good at solving problems and thinking critically, then, none of this is really going to work. And this is what nobody is really teaching anyone, anywhere, ever. People are just teaching skills these days. When I look outside and I look at entrepreneurs and these different things they're learning specific skills, processes, or tools, and they're installing it on top of, of nothing. And that just results in nothing. And they don't want to look at these layers beneath because they think, oh, that's just some woo-woo crap or something that doesn't really matter. I just want to learn the technical nuggets. I want to get those gold nuggets. Well, these are where the gold nuggets are, and you can have a lot of these, but if you don't have these base foundations, you ain't going to make anything happen. Or if you do make something happen, it's going to be short-lived. You're going to self-sabotage it and it's going to crumble. And the moment you face a problem, because you don't have this stuff down the bottom, you're just going to fold. You're just going to completely crumble in the heat of the moment. And that's why billionaires, the billionaire mind is really well built. It has these layers really dialed in.